What if that furry creature curled up at your feet? The one who greets you at the door like you're the only person in the world is not merely a dog. What if that unspoken understanding, that look in their eyes that seems to peer right into your soul, is something more? This isn't just a story about the loyalty of pets. It's about unlocking one of the most profound spiritual truths of our time, a truth that explains the sacred role dogs play in our lives. And this entire revelation comes from an unlikely source, a man named Edgar Cayce, who could access a universe of knowledge while he was asleep. Every single dog has a divine purpose in the life of its human, Cayce stated in a groundbreaking session. They are not just companions, they are soul-level guardians wearing a disguise of fur and paws. Their unwavering devotion isn't simply evolutionary instinct. It's the fulfillment of a soul-level commitment. They sense your emotional state often before you do. Cayce explained this isn't a physical link, but an energetic, spiritual one that crosses dimensions. Cayce had already stunned the world with his ability to diagnose illnesses, predict the future, and detail past lives with pinpoint accuracy. But his revelations about dogs struck a different chord. It validated a deep, mysterious feeling millions of us have, but can never quite articulate. Have you ever felt that the timing of your dog's arrival in your life was almost too perfect? That out of all the animals in the world, you were somehow meant to find each other, and that its personality seems tailor-made for you. Edgar Cayce's work reveals there are no accidents in this story. There is only a perfectly orchestrated spiritual plan, a divine mission wrapped in the language of unconditional love. And today, nearly a century after Cayce first spoke of it, we're finally ready to decode this mystery. Prepare to see the truth of why your dog is really, truly in your life. Stop for a second and just remember the day you met your dog. Perhaps you were just looking at a shelter and something about one particular animal wouldn't let you leave. Maybe a stray just happened to appear on your doorstep. Or maybe you fought the idea of a pet for years until a sudden, unexplainable impulse changed your mind. Do you honestly think that was random chance? Edgar Cayce uncovered a truth that reframes that entire encounter. You and your dog have a history that predates this lifetime. You share a bond that goes beyond time, space, and even death. In the spiritual realm, before we choose to incarnate, we create soul contracts, agreements with other souls on the parts we'll play in each other's lives. These agreements involve our family, our closest friends, our partners, and yes, our animal companions. But before we explore the astonishing details of this canine pact, it's vital to know the man who delivered this knowledge. Edgar Cayce was not some guru seeking followers or fortune. He was a humble man who stumbled upon a phenomenal gift and used it to illuminate the spiritual reality around us. Born in Kentucky in 1877, Cayce was a photographer when his life took an impossible turn. At 21, a severe case of laryngitis left him unable to speak above a whisper. Doctors gave up hope. But in a state of hypnosis, something incredible happened. Cayce not only diagnosed his own condition with the precision of a master physician, but prescribed an exact treatment that fully restored his voice. He soon discovered that in this trance state, he could access information about anyone, anywhere, needing only their name and location to deliver startlingly accurate medical readings, future prophecies, and details of past lives. Over 43 years, he gave more than 14 dozen of these documented readings. Leading physicians confirmed his diagnosis. Strangers he'd never met confirmed his predictions. Scientists were baffled. He was called the sleeping prophet because he remembered nothing of what he said while in his trance. It was as if a higher consciousness spoke through him. And it was this higher intelligence that revealed the secret life of dogs. The information Cayce received on animals was specific and consistent. He described how different species serve different spiritual functions. He explained the energetic reasons certain animals are drawn to certain people, and how pets act as a bridge between our physical world and the spiritual plane. But dogs, Cayce insisted, have a unique and honored place in this spiritual system. They are the only species that made a conscious agreement with humankind. This wasn't just about domestication for survival. It was a spiritual pact. In one of his most profound readings, Case stated that dogs chose to evolve beside us, sacrificing a part of their own wild nature to become our spiritual partners. This is a sacred contract that spans multiple lifetimes. What makes this revelation even more staggering is that Case said all of this decades before modern science even began to explore concepts like interspecies communication or the emotional bond between humans and pets. He was describing a reality science wouldn't begin to grasp for another 50 years. Case explained that dogs operate on a higher level of energetic sensitivity. They can perceive spiritual presences, see fluctuations in our energy fields, our auras, and even anticipate future events through a kind of extrasensory perception. A dog knows when its mission with a person is finished. Case noted, they also know when it is their time to depart. This is not a cause for sorrow, but a mark of a mission fulfilled. In his readings, Case often referred to dogs as our spiritual mirrors. If you need to learn about unwavering loyalty, a dog overflowing with it will come into your life. If you need to develop patience, a wonderfully stubborn dog may appear. If you carry deep emotional wounds, you will receive a dog with a profoundly healing presence. The most incredible part is that Case delivered these truths with the same matter of fact certainty he used to diagnose a physical ailment. To him, healing the body and understanding the soul were two sides of the same coin, part of one unified spiritual reality. Today, generations after his passing, Edgar Case's teachings about dogs are validated every single day by millions of people. Owners report experiences of telepathy, uncanny protection, and personal growth that can only be understood through the lens of the sleeping prophet's wisdom. Case's credibility is not just rooted in his psychic talent, but in the verifiable accuracy of his information over decades. When he speaks of the spiritual mission of dogs, he is not just theorizing. He is relaying direct knowledge from a higher dimension of reality. And that knowledge is about to transform your relationship with your dog forever. Stop for a second and just remember the day you met your dog. Perhaps you were just looking at a shelter and something about one particular animal wouldn't let you leave. Maybe a stray just happened to appear on your doorstep. Or maybe you fought the idea of a pet for years until a sudden, unexplainable impulse changed your mind. Do you honestly think that was random chance? Edgar Case uncovered a truth that reframes that entire encounter. You and your dog have a history that predates this lifetime. You share a bond that goes beyond time, space, and even death. In the spiritual realm, before we choose to incarnate, we create soul contracts, agreements with other souls on the parts we'll play in each other's lives. These agreements involve our family, our closest friends, our partners, and yes, our animal companions. Canine souls make a conscious choice to join their human families before they are even born. Case explained this in a session that moved everyone present. They study our soul's needs and design their personality to serve us in the exact way that is required for our growth. This means your dog isn't just an animal you chose. It is a soul that accepted a specific assignment to assist in your spiritual development. It knows your deepest insecurities, your fears, your unhealed emotional baggage, and it arrived with the perfect personality to help you confront those very things. Consider your dog's main characteristics. If it's fiercely protective, you are likely working through lessons about safety and trust. If it's endlessly playful, perhaps your soul needs a reminder about how to experience pure joy and live in the moment. If it's a calm and quiet presence, maybe your soul is crying out for more peace and serenity in your life. But the link is far deeper than just personality. Case revealed that many of our dogs are reincarnations of pets we have loved in previous lives. They come back to continue the spiritual work that you began together lifetimes ago. The recognition of a past life canon companion is instantaneous. Case stated, there's an immediate sense of knowing them, a bond that doesn't need to be built because it already exists. Have you ever had that feeling? the unshakable sense that you've known your dog for far longer than you actually have. That's not wishful thinking. It's your soul's memory waking up. The signs of this past life bond are clear. Your dog might react to certain places like it has memories there. It might have fears or preferences that have no basis in its current life experiences. It might display skills or behaviors that seem to have been learned in another life. Case also revealed a stunning fact. Some dogs are actually human souls who chose to incarnate in animal form to serve a particular person. These are the truly special dogs, the ones with a human-like wisdom in their eyes, who display an uncanny sense of compassion, and who sometimes act in ways that are startlingly human. These souls are making a tremendous sacrifice, Case explained. They are temporarily setting aside their own human journey to serve as a spiritual guardian. It is an act of pure love that is rarely understood. This explains why some dogs seem to grasp complex human situations, why they display such deep empathy, and why it sometimes feels like they are actively trying to teach us something important. The timing of their arrival is never a coincidence. Your dog enters your life at the precise moment of your greatest need. It could be during a crisis, or right before a period of major personal transformation, or when you're about to face a challenge that requires the exact support only that dog can provide. Edgar Cayce described this as the divine orchestration that guides our existence. Nothing is random. Every meeting has a purpose. Every bond has a lesson. Every relationship is a spiritual mission. And the mission of a dog is among the most sacred of all. They come to be our teachers of unconditional love, fierce loyalty, instant forgiveness, and living in the now. But they also come to be our protectors, our healers of old wounds, and our guides to the next phase of our spiritual journey. When you look at your dog tonight, you will no longer see just an animal. You will see a spiritual being that chose to pause its own path to accelerate yours. You'll see a courageous soul that signed up for the mission of standing by your side in good times and bad, through every triumph and every tear. Why does your dog sometimes seem to be guarding you against something you can't see? Why does it become uneasy in certain places? How does it appear to sense danger or an odd presence before you do? The answer is so much more than animal instinct. They are spiritual sentinels in a pet's body. As humanity evolved, we lost much of our innate spiritual sensitivity. Dogs, however, have retained this powerful ability. They can see, sense, and perceive realms of reality that our rational minds have learned to ignore. And they use this perception to protect us in ways we rarely appreciate. Dogs are living spiritual sentinels. Case explained in a landmark session. They can detect negative presences, dense emotional energies, and even non-physical entities that may be near their human. So, when your dog barks at what appears to be an empty corner of the room, it's not barking at nothing. It is alerting you to an energy that is present, but which you cannot perceive. This ability to see beyond the veil is why dogs have been considered sacred in so many ancient civilizations. But their protection is far more active than simple alerts. They act as living energetic shields, literally absorbing negative energy directed at their humans and transmuting it through their own spiritual body. A dog can absorb up to 70% of the psychic or emotional negativity aimed at its human companion, Case revealed. They do this intentionally, as a core part of their mission. It's an act of loving service. This revelation finally explains why some dogs develop health problems that seem to mysteriously mirror the emotional or physical issues of their owners. They aren't just getting sick. In some cases, they are literally taking on toxic energy to shield their human family. Case detailed 3 levels of spiritual protection dogs provide. First, basic energetic guardianship. Every dog naturally establishes a protective field around its home and family. They can sense a person with negative intentions approaching long before they ring the doorbell. This is why a dog might start barking or become agitated when certain people get near. Second, protection from entities. Dogs can see and engage with spirits and non-physical beings that exist in dimensions close to ours. They act as a natural deterrent to negative influences that might try to affect the household. Third, advanced psychic shielding. Some dogs, particularly those with a very deep soul bond with their owner, can intercept direct psychic attacks, curses, or focused negative thought forms. They absorb these harmful energies before they can impact their human. What makes this protection so remarkable is that it is entirely voluntary. Dogs are not compelled to serve this role. They choose it out of love. It's written into the spiritual contract they agreed to before this life began. A dog's loyalty is not instinct. Case emphasized. It is spiritual commitment. They make a promise to protect and serve, and they will honor that vow with their very last breath. This sacred duty explains behaviors we often misinterpret. When your dog has an instant dislike for someone, it's not being unfriendly. It's reading an energy signature from that person that it has identified as potentially harmful to you. When it insists on sleeping on your bed, it's not just being spoiled. It is actively extending its energetic protection over you during your most vulnerable time, sleep. While we sleep, our own energy fields become more open and impressionable. Dogs know this instinctively and become more vigilant during the night. It's why many owners notice their dogs are more alert after dark, even when there's no obvious physical threat. Case also revealed that dogs can often sense negative events before they happen. They pick up on the shifts in the energetic field that precede an accident, an illness, or a crisis. This explains why they sometimes act strangely or seem to be trying to warn us of something we can't see. They perceive future probabilities in the currents of present energy. Case explained. An agitated dog may be alerting you to something that hasn't materialized yet, but is already taking shape energetically. This precognitive ability is one of the most advanced forms of protection they offer. They don't just react to present danger, they help us prepare for what's to come. Now that you understand your dog is a spiritual protector, it's time to learn the language of the signs it sends you every day. Every seemingly bizarre behavior has a deeper spiritual message. Your dog is in constant communication with you about realities you can't see on your own. But before we dive in, I have to invite you to take the Quantum Thinking Challenge. This is for those who are ready to take conscious command of their reality and manifest their desires. It's a 21-day program with exercises designed to rewire your mind, elevate your frequency, and unlock your true energetic power. If you want to join, find the link in the first pinned comment. Now, let's start with the most common and misunderstood behavior: barking at empty space. When your dog barks at a part of the room where there is nothing, it is seeing something you are not. Edgar Cayce taught that dogs can perceive spiritual beings, leftover energy fields, and even emotional imprints from past events. Every room holds energetic memories, Cayce revealed. Dogs can read these memories like an open book. They bark to alert you to an energy that could be affecting you negatively. If your dog consistently barks at the same spot, take note. A traumatic event may have occurred there in the past. It could be an energetic weak point in the house, or a spiritual presence may be trying to communicate. The sound of the bark is also a clue. Short, sharp barks often indicate a physical presence alert. Long, low, pitched barks can signal a negative spiritual energy. High-pitched, rapid barks are often a warning of impending danger. Another mystical behavior is refusing to enter certain areas. If your dog consistently avoids a particular room or becomes anxious in one part of the house, it is sensing something you need to know. Dogs are like walking energy detectors, Cayce explained. They feel immediately when a space is heavy with negative energy or has an unwanted presence. If your dog refuses to enter a space, trust its intuition. Perform an energy cleansing. Light a white candle, burn sage, or simply say a prayer asking for the protection and purification of that space. Have you ever seen your dog just stare intently at something invisible? It might sit perfectly still for minutes, its gaze fixed on a specific point as if watching a movie. When this happens, your dog is most likely observing a spiritual presence. It could be a guide, a deceased loved one, or simply a benevolent energy passing through. The key is your dog's reaction. If it is calm and curious, the presence is likely positive. If it is tense and uneasy, it might be something that needs to be cleared. Those moments when your dog approaches you for no reason and insists on physical contact also have a deep meaning. Case revealed that dogs can feel when our own energy is out of balance or when we are experiencing a form of psychic attack. They come close to offer immediate shielding. Their physical presence reinforces our auric field and helps to repel negative influences. Case explained. The next time your dog insistently seeks you out, even if you didn't call, pause and check in with yourself. Were you just worrying, feeling anxious, or thinking negative thoughts? Your dog sensed you needed an energetic boost. Overprotective behavior is another major sign. If your dog suddenly starts shadowing you, sleeping right outside your door, or becomes hyper, alert around other people, it may be sensing that you are in a period of spiritual vulnerability. This often happens during times of major life changes, emotional turmoil, or when we are making significant decisions. Our energy becomes more porous, and the dog instinctively ramps up its protective duties. Comment below. What is the most unexplainable behavior you have ever witnessed in your dog? Let's work together to figure out what they were trying to tell you. Even food can be a spiritual signal. Dogs that suddenly refuse to eat or have a major change in appetite may be absorbing negative energy from their owners or the environment. They can literally lose their appetite when they are performing heavy, duty energetic work to protect their family. Case taught that if a dog stops eating for no medical reason, we should look at what is happening emotionally within the home. Are there arguments, high stress, or dense energies that need clearing? Sleep patterns are also revealing. A dog that is sleeping far more than usual may be processing negative energy it has absorbed. In their sleep, they transmute these dense energies and perform an energetic self-cleanse. On the flip side, a dog that is restless at night, that can't seem to settle down, may be detecting intense spiritual activity around you. It's staying on guard duty to protect the family during its most vulnerable hours. The most poignant behavior Case described is when a dog begins to show an outpouring of affection for no clear reason. It becomes more cuddly, seeks more contact, and just wants to be near its owner. They do this when they sense that their mission with that person is drawing to a close. Case revealed it's as if they know their remaining time together is precious, and they want to soak in every last moment. This understanding gives us a profound responsibility to heed the signals our canine partners are sending us. And the communication between you is only just beginning to open up. Edgar Case discovered that dogs do more than protect us. They serve as a perfect mirror of our own soul. Every personality trait, every behavioral quirk, every problem your dog has is a direct reflection of something on your own spiritual path. Dogs are a direct manifestation of their human's inner world. Case stated in a reading that silenced the room, they show us externally what we need to work on internally, but cannot see for ourselves. This means your dog is essentially a living, breathing diagnostic tool for your soul. Its strengths, its weaknesses, its fears, its needs for healing, all of it is being mirrored in the personality and behavior of your canine companion. Let's start with an example that will change how you see everything. A highly aggressive dog is rarely owned by a person who is outwardly aggressive. Instead, it usually belongs to a person who is repressing a huge amount of their own anger. The dog is acting out the rage the owner is unable or unwilling to express. Dog is acting territorial or possessive. Ask yourself, where in my own life do I feel my boundaries are being crossed? Where do I need to be more assertive in protecting my emotional space? Case explained that dogs arrive in our lives loaded with the exact personality traits required to teach us about our own blind spots. Let's look at the most common reflections. Anxious dogs. If you have an anxious dog, it's highly likely you also struggle with anxiety, even if you hide it well. Anxious dogs show up for people who need to learn how to relax, to trust the flow of life, and to release the need for control. They force us to cultivate patience and manage our own nervous energy. Fearful dogs. A dog that is afraid of everything is mirroring our own unacknowledged fears. They show us how fear can be paralyzing and prevent us from experiencing life to the fullest. As we help them overcome their fear, we learn to conquer our own. Stubborn dogs. If your dog is profoundly stubborn, it is reflecting your own resistance to change. These dogs appear for people who need to learn the lessons of flexibility and surrender. They teach us that we cannot always be in control. Needy dogs. A dog that constantly demands attention is often mirroring our own emotional neediness. It shows us how our own desire for validation and affection can be imbalanced. As we teach the dog to feel secure on its own, we learn to provide that security for ourselves. Independent dogs. Highly independent dogs often choose owners who have difficulty with intimacy and emotional connection. They teach us the dance of balancing autonomy with a healthy bond. But the most stunning mirror of all is how a dog's physical illnesses can reflect the owner's emotional state. Case made remarkable findings about this link. Digestive problems. Dogs with chronic stomach issues often belong to people who are having trouble digesting a life situation. They are literally absorbing and processing an emotional energy their owner cannot. Skin issues. A dog with skin problems may be mirroring its owner's issues with self-worth and vulnerability. The skin is our boundary to the world. A dog's skin problems can reflect our own difficulties with being exposed and seen. Respiratory problems. A dog that develops breathing trouble may be reflecting its owner's feeling of being smothered or unable to breathe freely in their own life, indicating feelings of oppression or a lack of freedom. Heart problems, perhaps the most powerful example. Dogs that develop heart conditions are often owned by people with a broken or closed-off heart. They are, in a very real sense, absorbing the heart touch of their owner. Dogs take on the maladies of their humans as a form of spiritual service. Case explained. They would rather suffer physically than see their human companion suffer emotionally. This truth carries a profound responsibility. When our dog gets sick, our first question should be, what emotional or spiritual aspect of my own life is in need of healing? In many cases, when we do our own emotional work, our dogs make a miraculous recovery. But the mirror effect is also positive. Joyful, well-adjusted dogs are a reflection of owners who are living in alignment with themselves. Affectionate, sociable dogs mirror people who are open to giving and receiving love. Your dog's personality also points to your own hidden gifts. If your dog is remarkably intuitive, it's a sign that you have psychic abilities you aren't using. If it's a natural protector, you may have a gift for caring for and guiding others. ShiHengYi case taught that we can fast, track our own spiritual evolution by simply observing the reflection our dog provides. Instead of getting frustrated by its behavior, we should ask, what is this trying to teach me about me? When we start seeing our dogs as soul mirrors, the relationship is completely transformed. We stop viewing their behaviors as problems to be fixed and start seeing them as lessons to be learned. Have you ever had the feeling your dog was reading your mind? Communication between humans and dogs does not rely on words or body language. Case explained. It occurs through a transfer of thought, waves, mental pictures, and a direct energetic link between two consciousnesses. Dogs are masters of telepathic communication because it is their natural state. While humans developed spoken language and let our innate telepathic skills atrophy, dogs have kept this pure form of connection alive. They aren't just receiving our thoughts, they are constantly broadcasting information back to us. The problem is, most of us have forgotten how to tune in to this silent conversation. Let's look at examples you've definitely experienced. The thought of food brings your dog running. You're on the couch. You haven't moved a muscle. But you briefly think about getting your dog a treat. Seconds later, it's in the kitchen, waiting expectantly. It didn't hear a sound. It heard your thought. Shared sorrow. You feel a wave of sadness, but you don't show it. And yet, your dog comes over to you and rests its head on your lap, offering silent comfort. It sensed your emotional energy before it was ever expressed physically. Arrival radar. Your dog gets excited and goes to the front door minutes before you arrive home. Even if you don't have a regular schedule, it is picking up on your intention to return long before your car is in the driveway. Case explained this communication operates through what he called the shared field of consciousness. When you forge a deep bond with your dog, you create a shared mental space where thoughts, emotions, and intentions can flow freely between you. This isn't supernatural, it's spiritual physics. Case revealed that consciousness vibrates at certain frequencies. When two consciousnesses are tuned into each other, telepathy is the natural result, and you can learn to develop this communication intentionally. Here are the techniques Case taught. Technique 1: Communicating with mental pictures. Sit calmly with your dog nearby. Close your eyes and form a very clear visual image of what you want to communicate. If you want it to come to you, visualize it walking towards you and sitting. If you want it to be quiet, visualize it lying down peacefully. Hold that mental picture steadily for a few moments, as if sending a photo from your mind to its mind. Don't force it, just project it with calm clarity. Technique 2: Emotional transmission. Dogs are emotional barometers. You can communicate your will through emotion. If you want your dog to feel safe, cultivate a deep feeling of peace and safety within your own body. If you want it to be alert, generate a feeling of focused awareness. The trick is to actually feel the emotion, not just think about it. Your dog responds to what you either feel, not what you think you're feeling. Technique 3: Communicating through eye contact. Gaze directly but gently into your dog's eyes. This isn't a staring contest, it's a soft, loving gaze with clear intent. While holding this eye contact, mentally send your message. Case discovered that direct eye contact establishes an immediate telepathic bridge. It's how you can have an entire conversation with your dog using just a single look. Technique 4: Ask mental questions and observe the answer. You can ask your dog questions in your mind and watch for its response through its behavior, its energy, or its body language. Mentally ask, "Are you feeling okay?" and observe its reaction. Ask, "Want to go for a walk?" and watch for the shift in its energy. The answer might be a physical movement, a change in its demeanor, or even an image or feeling that pops into your own mind. Trust the very first impression you get. But telepathy is so much more than simple commands. Case revealed that dogs often try to send us critical information about our own health, our future, and our spiritual state. Health alerts. Dogs can often detect disease before any physical symptoms emerge. If your dog becomes obsessed with sniffing or licking a specific spot on your body, pay attention. It may be alerting you to an underlying health problem. Warnings about people. When your dog shows a strong, unexplainable dislike for someone, it is receiving energetic data about that person that your conscious mind is missing. Trust its judgment. Predictions of events. Dogs can sense the energetic shifts that precede big life events. If your dog is behaving erratically for no good reason, it may be sensing that a significant change is on the horizon. The most profound revelation Edgar Cayce made about our dogs is about their function as spiritual healers. Dogs are divine instruments of healing. Cayce stated, "They have the ability to absorb emotional trauma, dissolve energetic blocks, and restore emotional harmony in their humans. This is one of their most sacred duties. If you have ever been through a difficult time and felt an inexplicable sense of comfort from your dog's presence, you have felt this healing firsthand. It wasn't just companionship, it was a literal transfer of healing energy through the bond of love between you." Dogs have a natural gift that most humans have lost. They can absorb negative energy without being permanently harmed by it. They act like conscious energy filters, pulling in emotional density and transforming it back into light. Let's break down how this healing works. Absorption of emotional trauma. When you are experiencing profound pain, grief, a breakup, a job loss, a family crisis, your dog instantly detects this dissonance in your energy field. It will physically come closer to you and through physical touch or just being nearby, it will begin to absorb that dense, traumatic energy. Have you ever noticed that when you're at your saddest, your dog becomes your shadow? That it seems to want to be glued to you. It's not just offering a shoulder to cry on, it's actively pulling the energetic pain out of your system. Energetic transmutation. After absorbing the negativity, the dog processes it through its own energy system. Case explained they have an innate ability to transform this dense energy back into a neutral or positive state. They are like spiritual alchemists, turning emotional lead into spiritual gold. The return of healed energy. Once they have processed the negative energy, dogs return a purified, healing energy back to their human. This happens through their affection, their physical presence, and even their loving gaze. This is why you feel better after being with your dog. You have received a literal energy transfusion. This isn't a fairy tale, it is a tangible energetic exchange that can be felt and observed. Countless people report that after a period of intense hardship, their dog's constant presence was the primary reason they started to feel whole again. Case even identified different healing specializations that dogs provide. Healing for anxiety. Dogs are master healers for anxiety because their energy is rooted entirely in the present moment. They do not worry about tomorrow or regret yesterday. Their energy naturally soothes our overactive nervous systems and anchors us in the now. Healing for depression. The pure life force energy of a dog is a natural antidepressant. They radiate authentic joy, enthusiasm, and unconditional love. This bright energy works to slowly dissolve the heavy density of depression. Healing for trauma. Dogs are exceptional trauma healers because they provide a space of total emotional safety. There is no judgment, no criticism, no abandonment. This unconditional presence creates a safe container where old wounds can finally surface and heal. Healing for loneliness. The deep, devoted bond we share with our dogs heals the wounds of isolation and abandonment. They are living proof that we are worthy of unconditional love and that we are never truly alone. This healing is most potent during sleep. Case revealed that when we sleep with or near our dogs, a profound energetic synchronization occurs. Our energy fields merge, and healing takes place at the deepest levels of our consciousness. During sleep, the defenses of the conscious mind are down. Cade explained, this is when the most significant soul healing can occur. A dog sleeping near its human is actively mending that person's spiritual wounds. This is one reason so many of us feel an intuitive pull to sleep near our dogs. It's not just for physical comfort, it's a soul-level need for energetic healing. But the healing isn't only emotional. They can also aid in physical recovery. Healing through vibration. While we link purring to cats, dogs create similar therapeutic vibrations through their rhythmic breathing, their heartbeat, and even the low rumbles they make when relaxed. These vibrations can stimulate cellular repair, healing through body heat. A dog's warmth isn't just physical, it's energetic. When a dog lays on a part of your body that is in pain, it is directing a healing warmth that can speed up tissue regeneration. Healing through pressure. Dogs instinctively know where to apply gentle pressure to stimulate our energy meridians or acupressure points. When they lean on us or rest a paw, they are often performing a type of energy work. Case also discovered that certain types of dogs can have different healing strengths. Large dogs are often specialists in healing deep trauma and providing a sense of security. Small dogs are excellent for soothing anxiety and boosting self-esteem. Calm dogs are ideal for healing stress and hyperactivity. High energy, playful dogs are perfect for healing depression and a lack of motivation. The most incredible part of all is that dogs do this consciously. They are aware of what they are doing, and they choose to take on our pain to help us. Taking them for energy, clearing walks in nature, joyful play, and giving them immense affection helps them process and release the dense energies they take on for us. It is our way of repaying the sacred healing service they provide without question. When we finally understand that our dogs are spiritual healers, our gratitude for them deepens into a new kind of reverence. They are not our pets. They are four-legged angels on a sacred mission of healing and love. And this healing is just the beginning of the transformation they bring to our lives.